YTBC, this is your boy Coach Sheldon Harrison. And listen, I want to give a shout out to Fergal Baeattie. Fergal Baeattie asked me to do this video about why is it so easy to get guns in places like Australia and Britain. And I'm going to also throw the U.S. in there because it's easy to get a gun in the U.S. And I'm talking about, I think it's more easy to get a gun over here in the U.S. than it is anywhere. But let's go ahead and talk about it. I'm from the South, Fergal Baeattie. I'm from the South. And let me just tell you, okay, we believe in carrying our guns, okay? I carry my gun, especially when I go out of town. Because you just never know, when somebody gets stupid. I mean, I carry my gun. I carry it. It ain't no getting around it, okay? And a lot of Americans, we carry guns. We believe in our guns, okay? And I ain't giving up my gun for nothing. I don't care who want to buy it from me. Ain't nobody getting it, okay? That's just the way that is. But let me go ahead and explain to you, okay? Let me talk to you about the politics of this gun availability. I'm going to talk to you because, see, it's politics and it's money, man. All it is money. And I'm finna talk to you and explain to you how this works, okay? All right, so what happens, okay? Well, no, I'm going to give you a history lesson first, okay? You guys remember back in 1996, there's a guy named Martin Bryan, okay? He lived in Australia. And, Martin Bryan, he had a gun. He was a weapon owner. He had a gun, but he pulled up at a cafe and he just opened fire on a lot of people, okay? It didn't stop at the cafe. Martin Bryan, got in his car, drove up the road. He saw a woman and her two kids. I think her kids were like 5 and 3. But he got to them, stopped beside them, pulled up beside them, and then shot them, okay? He shot the kids. He shot the woman. He pulled off, and then he found another woman sitting in her car. He shot the woman, but he took the guy hostage. He took, her boyfriend. So he fled to this cabin, with the guy. Fled to a cabin. Held the guy hostage in the cabin. Okay, Martin Bryan, he knew it wasn't no way out. He set the cabin on fire, man. Set it on fire, killing the hostages inside, okay? And, that's what happened. And I know y'all, I remember when it came on TV, because I'm like, man, this dude killed about 35 people in a mass shooting, okay? Now, this is what Australia tried to do, okay? Or this is what they did. They put together a buyback program, okay? They put together. And it sounds like a good program, like you can bring your handguns and you can sell them to the government, okay? So they bought these guns back. They bought them back, and they bought about some 750,000 guns. They bought them to get them off the street. Well, then Australia reported, and I'm just giving y'all history that, hey, our homicide rate dropped down, okay? Our homicide rate dropped down by 53% and yada, yada, yada. But, they say this, but they still having these mass shootings. Okay, wait a minute. They done got 750,000 guns off the street, but they still having these mass shootings. See, how does this happen? Where are the guns coming from? Because you got 750,000 guns not in circulation. And when you're talking about guns, that's a lot of guns. That could affect, a lot of homicides. But why in Australia and even Britain, why don't the homicide rates go down that much? Why? Because they said it went down, but technically they still having these mass shootings. What's up with that? I'm finna tell y'all what it is point blank. See, a government is not in the business of protecting people. A government is not in the business of being your friend. The only thing that a government serves as a function is, okay, they only care about making money. That's it. Every process in the government, I can tell you, I can relate it back to how it makes money. Even the education function of the government, I can tell you how they make a lot of money. Okay, I can tell you that. Okay, the government's only purpose is to make money. And that's just the way that is. Their only purpose on earth is to make money. They're not concerned about the citizens. They don't care what's right about the citizens. And I got to get some of you dudes more conscious. I got to get y'all to think about this, okay? Now, okay, how do you think that these gunslings, these massacres, okay, why do you think these are still happening in places like Britain and Australia? But apparently the guns have been taken off the street, a lot of them. See, here's the reason why. Guns, they got taken off the street by the government, but the government sold those things back into circulation. What they did is that they refurbished the guns. They refurbished the guns, and the guns were put back in circulation. Now, why would they do that? Because when you look at the continent of Australia, you look at Britain, you look at countries like that, the selling of weapons and firearms is a big, big business. And that would have a very, very big impact on the economic disposition of that country. Okay, so they can't just stop selling the guns. So they got to make it look good. They got to cover it up. They got to say, okay, we getting these guns off the street. See, that's what they got to say. But on the flip side, they refurbishing these guns and they putting them right back out there on the street. I'm gonna tell you how I know this. Okay, I got a cousin that works for the White House. I mean, she is a Secret Service person. Okay, she protected the president for a lot of years, and they rotate him out. Now she's rotating elsewhere. Because, see, they're going to try to start something similar in the U.S. if they hadn't already started. They're going to try. But, see, in the U.S., it's not going to work. It's not going to be that effective, okay? The reason why is because people in the U.S., we're not giving up our guns. We ain't giving these guns up. And I'm one of the people. I ain't giving up my gun for what? Why would I do that? That's my protection gone. See, in the U.S., we got it figured out. Like, we know, we understand. See, other countries might say a lot of stuff about the United States, but one thing that we really, really, truly understand, we understand the value of a gun. And we know why a gun is important. We know why. Even though we have a lot of mass shootings in the U.S. ourselves, but y'all ain't getting our guns. Like, that's something that the United States of America will fight. We will fight to the tooth and nail to keep our guns. Ain't no law gonna make us give up our guns. Ain't nobody. We know. But see, in Australia and Britain, they sold their guns back. They sold them back to the government. The government took those guns and flipped the profit. They flipped the profit. You got to think 750,000 guns that Australia took up. I mean, think about this. Think about, and let's even say if they even paid you $50 for your gun, that's what the government will do. That's something how they do. Okay? $50 for your gun, the government made $35 million. Well, the government going to take those guns and sell those guns, put them back in circulation for about $100 or $75 a pop. That's what they're going to do. They're going to flip it and get darn near $1 billion off of a $35 investment. See, the government, they're very slick with it. They'll invest $35 million. Well, okay, no. What they did, they invested $230 million. So they set aside $230 million in Australia. They set this money aside, and this is purely for the purchase of buying guns, okay? Now, they didn't spend all $230 million buying those guns. It didn't happen. So, of course, they didn't spend all that money, but they flipped the profit. And they probably made about maybe 35 to 40. No, they probably spent out 35 to 40 million dollars on buying the guns and getting them off the street. They probably spent that much. The government don't kick out a bunch of money for a lot of stuff, and then they flipped the profit and got $1 billion back on the investment. See, the government, they do this all day long. They invest and they make money. That's what a government does. And you people, some of you guys are surprised. Well, why would a government do that? Because they want to make money. They want as much money as they can get. Why do you think they got taxes? Why do you think they taxes on money that we made? They want money. Even, they did the same thing in Britain. They did they put aside $200 million to buy back these guns, okay? Britain collected about 160,000 guns, okay? And they made up these gun restriction laws. But y'all, they try to come out with these stats, okay? They try to come out with all these stats saying, yeah, but the crime rate is down. The incident rates, the massacre rates are down. But, what do countries like Australia and Britain, what constitutes a massacre? Because people were still getting killed. People were still getting killed in massacres. I don't care if it's 2 people. That's a massacre. I don't care if it's 5 people. That's a massacre. Okay? It's a massacre. I mean, okay, they didn't kill 35 people. But, y'all, do you know, and I'm finna tell y'all, here goes some more history. In Australia, since they dropped that law, 113 more people done got killed in a massacre. And I'm talking about this is 13 more incidences, y'all. 13! After they dropped this law. After they got the guns off the street. After they told you that they're going to do a mental background check before you can buy a gun. After they told you all this. But the massacre rates, they still going up. But they telling you that homicide rates dropped by 53%. People, that's stupidity. And you can go ahead and believe that if you want to. No, not only can you go get a gun anywhere, not only it don't matter what law they put in, some crazy bastard gonna get a gun and he gonna shoot somebody. Because the government, they're taking the guns and they're refurbishing these guns and they're selling them back to, I went to a pawn shop and bought a gun. You think if I went that, they ain't doing no, they didn't do a check. They checked my ID, that's it. And I got the gun. Now, you got somebody with a mental disease, they're going to get a gun, y'all. This law, it's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. A crazy person will still get a gun. You ain't nullifying as long as the government are selling these guns back and putting these guns back in circulation. Then it's not going to stop. Okay, the massacres are going to keep happening. And you people, you got to understand this. You got to understand how the politics of big government work. It's a big business. Okay, they can't get rid of all the guns. If they do, if they stop putting the guns, that's an economic impact. Okay, then they're going to have to raise taxes. Then they're going to have to do more stuff, okay? See, that's what they're going to have to do. The government, y'all ain't got me fooled. I'm telling y'all ain't got me fooled. I already know what y'all doing. I know what y'all doing. Okay, yeah, y'all want to run all these campaigns to tighten all the gun laws and all this crap. But see, what happens? It don't matter what gun law you get. The government, they're in the business of making money, and they're going to put those guns back on the street. And see, the guns are going to be completely changed, but they're putting them back on the street. Okay? Don't try to tell me, oh, well, they're doing a good job of cleaning up these guns. No, they're not. Shut up. That's not what they're doing. Okay? And they're talking about, okay, would something like this work in the U.S.? And my answer is, hell no. Something like this ain't going to work in the U.S. And ain't nobody in the U.S. stupid enough to give their guns back. Why would we do that? And when we know other countries trying to attack us. See, a lot of you other countries, you guys, y'all need to take a page out the United States book. Don't give your guns back to the government. Are you stupid? Why would you give them your guns, you silly bastard? Don't give up your guns. Because I know, this country, we got all kind of people trying to get at us. I ain't giving my gun up. And somebody want to try to hold me up, hey, they getting shot. You come to the U.S., you will get shot. See, our military here in the U.S., they ain't got to get you. We got citizens in the U.S. that will fight. We all, every last U.S. red-blooded citizen, they'll fight if something go down in our country. These other countries, they try to invade the country, that's good. They're going to get shot. They're going to get killed trying to do this. Our military ain't got to do nothing. But y'all, the gun violence is because it started, and it's not all because of the government. The government's not doing it all, but I'm saying they're putting the guns back in circulation. They're getting these programs, initiatives to make money. They flip the profit, guys. When they set aside $200 million, the government don't put out money unless they plan to make money. Okay? So they set aside $200 million, but they flipped the profit and got $1 billion. I think that's a heck of an investment. Don't y'all think so? You guys tell me what you think. This is your boy, Coach Shelton Harrison. I'm done.